Jeff the Killer. Excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling that someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, and the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains were a pair of two eyes. Okay, that's what it says. They weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said it in a way that only a madman would speak. He said,
"Go to sleep."
I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He screamed and Jeff just charged his ass. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished me off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. This is supposed to be in a newspaper. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. What the fuck? Where are we now? Well, oh, they're calling the driveway in front of your home a parking lot? They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of the house. The window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out it to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes. And that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police are still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. Okay, well, alright, so we went from a newspaper article about Jeff to now the story is actually being told from Jeff's perspective? Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Liu, L-I-U, couldn't complain though. A new, better house. What was not to love? And as they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeff's mom. Jeff's mom doesn't even have a name. It's just Jeff's mom. "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband, Peter." Paid it. "And my two sons, Jeff and Lou." They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family were done packing, Jeff went up to his room. "What do you mean done packing? You mean done unpacking?" "We were unpacking, not packing. We just moved into this house. We're not leaving yet." "Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party?" Why would you invite us? That it doesn't really, whatever. "If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." What the fuck? "Jeff," said his mother, said Jeff's mother. "We just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors." Now we're going to that party, and that's final. Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there, looking at his ceiling, when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard... Was this going somewhere? He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. I guess that wasn't going anywhere. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there, eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time, it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there, waiting for the bus, and then, all of a sudden, the bus pulled up. No, that's not what it says. Some kid on a skateboard jumped over them. He jumped over them. Are they just standing? Wait a minute. He sat there waiting for the bus. So they're sitting on a bench. So, that's a hell of a ollie that kid just did. Some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands. Oh, cool. Kid seemed to be about 12. 1 year younger than Jeff. Oh my god, Jeff's only 13? I thought he was supposed to be older than that. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Well. It looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, 2 other kids appeared. One was super skinny, and the other was huge. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Keith. That's a weird sentence. Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have. And he's Troy. They looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. What the fuck? Jeff's kind of a dick. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there was a small price for bus fare, if you catch my drift. You mean the school bus? Is that what you mean? You're gonna... what? You don't even pay to ride the school bus. Is that what we're talking about? What other bus would they be riding? Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes, when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. I'm talking about little, 12-year-old kids pulling knives on each other. I thought this was supposed to be like an upscale neighborhood. Tisk. I had hoped you would be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. What the fuck? Is he gonna shit himself? Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, and what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid on the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed, and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked, and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff punched this fucking kid and he puked all over the ground. Jeff, how'd you... That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing. So they started running as fast as they could. What do you mean? Yes, you just, like, assaulted people. So they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, it was the school bus. They didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating... Oh, Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids. But Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school, even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop. And how now... What the fuck? And how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He felt happy. He is happy that he no longer has to ride the bus. Jeff doesn't like riding the school bus. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said, in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, oh my god, wow, that's a jump. Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door. His mother looked back at him with an angry look. Alright, well, never mind. Who would immediately suspect that the cops are there to talk to their 13-year-old son? Jeff must have, like, some other problems going on, if that's happening. Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids. That it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son! Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou. Son, said one of the cops. Oh, never mind. Son, said one of the cops. We found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was of no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but then there was no proof it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they were fleeing, because truth be told they were, so Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all the kids. What? Is this supposed to be the cop speaking? Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The cop looked at his partner, and they both nodded. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. Wait, says Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou. It was me. I beat up those little punks. I have the marks to prove it. He lifted his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lou, it was me. I did it. Jeff had tears running down his face. Huh? Poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Lou out to the patrol car. Is Lou supposed to be a younger brother, or are they like twins? Because I don't remember if there was a description of how old Lou was supposed to be. Not, I expect that he's supposed to be younger, but it's not like every day you just, take a 10-year-old to fucking jail. Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched. Who said that? Who was saying that? Is that the cop saying that? Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway. Seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong with Jeff. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the doorway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back to the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. That's 3 things. Usually when you say both, you mean like 2 things. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just wanted to sleep. Why would this other kid take the blame for something like that? Why would he? I mean, there's no real context to know like why he would do that. It just seems odd. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by with no word from Lou at JDC. It was, I don't know, juvenile detainment center? Maybe? No friends to hang out with. Nothing but sadness and guilt. That is, until Saturday, when Jeff is woke by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Okay, Jeff, it's the day, she said as she opened up the curtains and let light flood into his room. What's today? Asked Jeff as he stirs awake. Why, it's Billy's party. He was now fully awake. Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after... There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now, get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress and his father in a suit. Wow, you're getting real dressed up to go to a fucking 13-year-old's birthday party. He thought, why? He thought, why they would ever wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party. Why they would ever. I don't know. That's, yeah, another wrong grammatical error, motherfucker. Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jeff's mom. Better than wearing too much, he said. What? His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hit it with a smile. Better than wearing too much. What does that mean? She's too dressed up? If he means that she's too dressed up to go to a child's party, I would have to agree. She's wearing... Well, if Dad's wearing a suit, it makes me assume that Mom is wearing a really nice fucking dress. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. Not really. I would just think you're fucking weird if you show up wearing a suit to a kid's birthday party. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled downstairs. Just pick something, called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he would call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which go with dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. Oh damn, Jeff's got all his gear together. You're wearing that? They both said. His mother looked at his watch. Oh, no time to change. Let's just go, she said, as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara. Just like his parents, way overdressed. That Barbara. That's an interesting way to refer to someone. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. Why are there no kids at this kid's birthday party? The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. Oh, okay. The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about go and meet some of them, said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and hat. "Hey, wanna play?" he said. Wait a minute, how old are these children? These are like even younger than him. No kid, I'm way too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with a weird puppy dog face. "Please," said the kid. "Fine," said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend to shoot at the kids. That's not a good image. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off of Lou. So he was playing with the kids for a while, until he heard a noise. A weird, rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Man, they just ollied that fence. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. "Hello, Jeff, is it?" he said. Where am I getting multiple from? That word is not there. "We have some unfinished business." Jeff saw his bruised nose. "I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you got my brother sent to JDC. Randy got an angry look in his eyes. "Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today." As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off of him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. They have guns. Goodness. No one interrupts or guts will fly, they said. Randy, damn, these are children. This is a fucked up neighborhood. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Such senseless violence. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabbed his foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. "Need some help?" He picks Jeff up by the back of his collar and throws him through the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Man, they are just kicking the crap out of him. At least he hasn't been shot yet. "Come on, Jeff, fight me." He picks Jeff up and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. "Fight!" He throws Jeff back into the living room. They're just kicking this kid's ass all over some random person's house. All over Barbara's house. Barbara's gonna be really pissed. I wonder if that was expensive vodka. "Come on, Jeff. Look at me." Jeff glares up, his face riddled with blood. "I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC. And now you're just gonna sit here and let him rot in there for a whole year? You should be ashamed." Jeff starts to get up. "Oh, finally you stand up and fight." Jeff is now on his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Blood and vodka. Blood and vodka. Once again, he gets that strange feeling. The one in which he hasn't felt for a while. "Finally, he's up," says Randy as he runs at Jeff. Oh, I guess I didn't give enough of an inflection on that. "Finally, he's up," says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. That's when it happens. You mean happened. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him into the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Ramsey's heart to stop. I don't know why I said Ramsey's. Randy. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him. Punch after punch. Blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. He killed this kid by punching him in the heart over and over again. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying children, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, Jeff sees the guns trained on him. Wait a minute. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. That just seems like a really quick fucking transition there. Like, I feel like there should be another sentence in there. Give me some more description. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him, each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks in the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Why did he do that? Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. They are just... Man, these little fucking 12-year-olds are just determined to kill each other. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the... Okay, Jeff did this. Alright, just a little confusing. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He drops the knife and grabs Jeff by the neck. He pushes him into the wall. A thing of bleach. A gallon of bleach. Let me fix that. A gallon of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lay there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. When you say let out, that makes me think like the character is, letting out a sigh or something. You don't like let out a smile. That's not how that works. What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny, he said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames engulfed the alcohol and the vodka. And the bleach? While the alcohol burned, the bleach bleached his skin. The bleach bleached. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was of no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff. Now, where have they been this whole time? They're only now screaming? There have been kids trying to kill each other in this house. They were shooting at him, for fuck's sake. One of them is dead. And now the parents care? Oh my god. Where was I? Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff. Now, a man on fire. Dropped to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. He made it a long way before he passed out. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed in. "I don't think you can get out of bed just yet," she said, as she put him back into his bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked. Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak. "Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of attacking you, they decided to let Lou go. Randy is dead." This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. "He'll be out by tomorrow, and then the two of you will be together again." Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes, Jeff. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. That is just really, what the fuck? Really poor sentence structure there. Then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it. His family were all there to see it, what he would look like. As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage, the cover over his face, was almost removed. Hope for the best, said the doctor. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face. What? What happened to my face? Jeff said. He rushed out of the bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burned to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it. He looked back at his family, and then back at the mirror. Jeff, said Lou. It's not that bad. Not that bad, said Jeff. It's perfect. His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff? Are you okay? Okay? I've never felt more happy. Look at me. His face goes perfectly with me. He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Oh, okay. I get what we're saying now. Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Now, those commas are in the wrong place. Now, he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents. What? Now, he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. Doctor. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Doctor, said Jeff's mom. Is my son all right? You know, in the head? Oh, yes. His behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers. He's like, oh, yeah, he's fine. He's just high. If this behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here and we'll give him a psychological test. Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetly. What? Jeff, sweetly, it's time to go. What? Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff Sweetly? Is his last name Sweet? What? Jeff Sweetly, it's time to go. I think she was trying to say, it's time to go sweetly to Jeff. Like she was trying to say, it's time to go in a really nice way. I think that's what that means. Jeff looks away from the mirror. His face still formed into a crazy smile. Okay, mommy. His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. He was naked? This is what came in, said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood, and now stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. "Jeff, what are you doing?" asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother. "I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. And now I can smile forever." Jeff's mother noticed his eyes, ringed and black. "Jeff, your eyes!" His eyes were seemingly never closed. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself, my new face." Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful?" Yes, son," she said. You are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face." She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. "Honey, get the gun. Not like he's having like a fucking psychotic breakdown and we need to fucking incapacitate this kid and get him to a doctor. It's like, no, we're gonna fucking shoot this motherfucker. That's every parent's like first just, go to when kid starts doing something weird. I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker. She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway, holding a knife. Mommy, you lied." That's the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with a knife, gutting both of them. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. "Shh," Jeff said.
Just go to sleep.
That was Jeff the Killer by Sesseur.